figure out that earpiece. Um, no, it's, like you said, when you look at the roster, you look at the squad that is here, and even some of the guys that aren't here. An incredibly talented group of players. One that I think as Coach said was one of the most difficult to put together. And to watch everybody perform from my point of view, and as a player, seeing them perform throughout Europe is it's just so impressive. To see the number of guys who are doing well, and then to see him bring that into the camp and into these games, and going into the summer is a good position to be in.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I'll add is that, as Tim mentioned, when we were picking the roster, it was really difficult. And then when we had to replace two players, the players we replaced him with, had just scored a goal in the Bundesliga and has double-digit goals in the championship in England. So it shows the quality in this squad. And watching every week, to see our guys performing well is a great feeling for us as coaches. We're so proud of what they're doing and what type of people they are.
Doug McIntyre, Fox Sports. Hi, Greg. Questions for you. Talk about the depth you have. I know you're not looking past the game tomorrow, but with the tight turnaround, is there a thought that you want to try to utilize the whole roster and rotate and get fresh legs in, so so you're fresh in both games?
No, I'm smiling because we know how difficult these games are, and I think for us, it's avoiding complacency, being focused, and doing our business. And we know how much we want to win our third title, and we're going to put everything into each game. Now is not the time to start resting on our laurels. We want to be focused, and we want to win this game and advance to the final.
Thanks, Greg. Sanjay with Backheeled. Two questions, and Tim, you can chime in on the first one. During the last cycle, you talked about how you were bringing along basically a group of kids, college-age kids, on and off the field. Now you still got a few guys in that category, but you've got a lot of other guys becoming young adults, right? So, what's it been like? 6 months being back. What's it like managing these guys individually, collectively, and just planning and managing camps socially? What's that been like? And the second question, you said after you returned that attacking set pieces was going to be a point of emphasis in terms of improving from the World Cup. How do you view that progress, and what, if anything, have you done differently in camps to try and sharpen that as you get closer to big games and big tournaments? Thank you.
Well, I think the running joke from me in the first cycle was that most of the guys were closer in age to my oldest son than they were to me. So to see them grow and mature over that cycle, and now they are the guys who are helping kind of that next generation come through. It's been really impressive to see how much they've matured, how much they've taken on board, how much they've learned, and taken that into their own club seasons and club performances. So you're seeing a lot. I'm seeing a lot more guys who are more mature, have a lot deeper meaning conversations and understanding of what we're doing, what Greg and the staff want, and it's nice to be able to continue on in that path, in that vein, and see them really get the best out of themselves, and push themselves to the next level.
Yeah, and I think off the field, it's nice to see how they're maturing and growing, and some of them now have young families and children, and that that's especially gratifying because we've worked with them for a long time now, 5 years, and just to see that process has been really good up close. In terms of set pieces, I don't think it's only the work we're doing in camp. We're doing work out of camp. We formed a group that is working outside of camp with the players and going over offensive set pieces, getting their ideas, working, giving them a lot of responsibility of how do we get better. We also have a set piece coach who's been doing it the longest in the world. Gianni Vio is his name, from Italy. He worked with Tottenham lately. Recently, he was with Italy when they won the Euros. And he's experienced, and now it's just pulling that all together, being understanding that it's a process, that things aren't going to necessarily happen, from one game to the next. Not that you just flip a switch and you're a great set piece team, but we're putting in the work and we want to get better. And I see the guys we saw in training today; they were really aggressive in set pieces. So we'll see what happens.
Hi, Greg. John Arnold from Getting CONCACAF. Jamaica has a number of players missing, a couple guys suspended, Leon Bailey, who they chose not to bring in. Today, Mikel Antonio withdrawn from the team. Wondered how that can change your preparation for a game, understanding that there's still going to be challenges, and also the fact that they might end up putting in guys who maybe you don't have as much tape on and that kind of thing. What challenges can it pose to sometimes see different faces maybe in a game like this?
It puts us on higher alert. No question about it. For us, we're not taking this team lightly, and now with these guys missing, it's even more serious because we know the tendency, but we also know, and I spoke to the team about this today, the guys that are going to get their opportunity tomorrow night, they're going to be giving everything to show this coach they want to be part of the squad for Copa America. So it's a dangerous game for us, and again, we're going to be really focused on trying to play a good game and get to the final.
Thank you. Michele Giannone from Univision in TUDN. Hi, Greg. It's for you. This might be a dumb question. We'll see. Following up, John, Jamaica is missing a lot of key players. So when you're analyzing them, is it harder to analyze a team that is missing the most known players and the players that you might maybe know best?
Yeah, it's interesting because we went through the roster today, and we're going around the room and asking the players, about what they know personally about the Jamaican players, because a lot of them play with these players. A lot of them know them from England. They're well known to our player pool. So again, we think that the quality that they have is still good. They're missing their top talent, but they still have enough, to be a very competitive team and a very difficult team. And we know at these events, we know when CONCACAF teams play each other, they're very difficult games. So we expect the same thing. And we know Jamaica's a robust team. We know they're going to fight till the end. We saw that against Canada in the quarterfinals of the Nations League. So, we're preparing for a very difficult opponent tomorrow.
Hi, Coach. Tim Francisco Villalobos from Televisa Univision. Easy and a hard question. Who wants the easy one? Who wants the hard one? Be honest.
Doesn't matter.
You're the captain. You'll get the hard one.
We're well trained.
The United States faces a situation that has never faced at least in decades, where they're qualified for Copa America, they're qualified for the World Cup, for being the host nation, and obviously because of the way that you guys got here to Nations League. I asked this to the coach in Mexico. How does this tournament prepares you for the next level, and from that level to the next one, where you are building up on each one? What is your plan to get from this particular project, for this particular tournament, to apply it to Copa America, and other than obviously winning the cup, like meaning tactical, mentally, etc. What say you? And the easy one for you, Mr. Tim, the United States tends to, in this part of the country, there's usually more people that are rooting for the visiting team. However, as demographic changes, there's more and more children of those folks that are born here that have never touched South America, and they're rooting for MLS teams. What say you? How does, as USA players, try to cultivate those new fans and get them to root for USA rather than the countries where their parents and their grandparents came from?
We're gonna answer in reverse.
Yeah.
Okay. No, we've had that discussion as a group, as as players, and we have an opportunity to change the game in this country. We have an opportunity to convert fans, to convert youngsters, and not necessarily convert them, but bring them more on board. And that's our job as players, as role models, as people. To put ourselves out there, to to bring these youngsters and maybe convert others to rooting for the U.S. As you said, a lot of them have not set foot in South America, and they obviously know the best players in the world. They know the best players that come from South America, but their home is the U.S. And for us, we want to make sure that we're putting on good performances, that we're playing well, that we're presenting and representing ourselves, but also representing the country in a very positive way, and hopefully that that gives them a team, players, and a group that they can aspire to potentially be like, but also to really support and root for each and every time we play.
And for us, we're using this tournament as a pivotal part of our preparation for the World Cup. We're using Copa America. We're using, these high-profile friendly games that we have, because the way we look at it is elimination games and playing against the best teams in the world are going to prepare us for 2026. When we don't have qualifying, say, okay, what else is there? And it's clearly Nations League, knockout competition, a chance to win a trophy. Colombia, Brazil, big profile friendlies before the summer, and then Copa America, the oldest, one of the most regarded tournaments in the world. Again, help prepare us for 2026.
Hello, hello, Coach Carlos Nava from ESPN. Coach, how important is to win this kind of game to continue with the development exactly for the goal that you have 2026 and for team? In this team particularly, there are 21 guys playing in Europe. So is this talking about the development of the soccer in the United States or MLS players? So how do you view as a player these kind of national teams?
Yeah, listen, we always talk about it doesn't matter where guys are playing. If they're playing at a high level, contributing at their club, and being leaders within their club, and then coming into the national team and contributing and being part of a bigger group, a brotherhood as we call it. And you look at, like you said, the 21 of us that do play in Europe. I think it does show there's a lot more development, a lot more guys who are willing to push themselves and really step out of their comfort zones, and make moves to Europe and really try to make a career out of being away from a home. And I think we're seeing and reaping the rewards of that. Guys who are wanting to make that jump, and you see it every day. Every time we come into camp, guys have developed a little bit more. They're a little bit more stronger, a little bit more developmentally. They understand the ups and downs, and yeah, I think it's again going back to saying we're inspiring a generation that comes behind us and behind them. I think it's important that we have that representation in Europe, but I think it's more important that guys are contributing each and every single day, each and every single week. Getting important matches under their belt, and continuing to develop as professionals and as people.
Yeah, it's of course it's a goal of ours to win the Nations League. I think it's a goal of all 4 teams involved in this tournament, and we know it's not going to be easy. We know it's a lot easier to say than actually do. But one thing I know is our guys have worked so hard throughout the year with their clubs. It's nice to get them back, and we deserve to win a trophy together. And it would be nice to get our 3rd title.
We are going now with some virtual questions. Hector Lassetti. Hector.
Thanks, Colasi for Cloud Sports. I wanted to ask both of you. Jamaica has a lot of absences right now, but they have a lot of players in Europe, in England, in Germany, many different places. Do you think they are the second most talented national team, top to bottom, the 1 through 11, maybe after the US, if they were all healthy or available? Thanks.
It's not really our job to assess that publicly. I think that's your job. That's this group's here. They can deal with that. For us, we have an opponent. We respect our opponent. We want to beat our opponent and go on to win the Nations League. I'm sure Tim's familiar with a lot of the players from England, and that's the way it is.
Yeah, I don't think there's any, any point in us in analyzing and saying, oh, this squad's better, that squad's better, this squad's number one, this squad's number four. It's, you take, and it is cliche, but you take each and every game and you analyze each and every opponent, individually and collectively, as the game comes. So, just because you have, a lot of guys who come from England, or, a lot of guys come from whatever league they're coming from, it's, like Coach said, it's not our job to say who's better and who's worse. It's our job to go out and win games.
Ronald Bloom.
Hey, Greg. Another question just about the balance with Europe and MLS. I think since you've been back with the full player pool, only 2 of 66 starting spots have been MLS players, and I think just 5 in 10 games since the World Cup. Is it that the strongest US players are no longer in the league and have gone to Europe? Because it's been all times of the year, so I would think it's not just fitness levels.
No, I mean, I think again, I can't speak highly enough of Major League Soccer and its role in both setting the standard for professional leagues in North America with the facilities, with the stadiums, with the level of competition, and then also youth development. And we've said all along, if you look at our roster, how many guys have come from MLS clubs that are currently on the roster right now? So although they may not be currently playing in Major League Soccer has a huge impact on our player pool and always has, since its inception. So, we're grateful for the role of Major League Soccer. We work closely with all the academies, with the first teams of a lot of teams, and if a guy's good enough to break into the lineup, it doesn't matter where he plays.
Thank you.
With Andrew Jones.
Thank you very much. First for Greg, Johnny Cardosa, he came to camp. How was he doing in terms of his fitness, in terms of full availability? And how did you write who you brought in as not only for his merits as a player, but him knowing his Coventry teammates and Joel Lesberry and Casey Palmer? How's he been as a scout for you there? And Tim, we had a good talk with Jedi about Anthony Robinson, talking about Bobby Reed, him being one of the jovial guys in the locker room. Talk about your bond with him and whether you want to be a coach one day with how analytical you are up there with breaking it down, just like Greg.
Yeah, we as Greg said, we had a meeting and a lot of us were able to speak up because we've played either against or with a good number of guys who play for Jamaica, and love Bobby. I've played with him for the last 3 years now, and he's an upbeat guy, great character, and I'm sure everything that Jed said, I'll just be repeating. So yeah, it's it'll be interesting to be on the other side and playing against him. But again, like I said, we played against a lot of these guys, throughout the years in England, and in terms of being analytical and coaching, I'm an analytical person. I do break things down and try to look at every angle, and I don't know that coaching is in my future, but I'll never close a door before it opens. So we'll see what happens there.
He'll stay involved in soccer. You can count on that. So about Haji, we're talking about that. Yeah, Haji was helpful in giving information about the 2 players that he plays with. He's looked good in training. Johnny arrived last night. We had to get him an MRI in Spain. He had to pass a fitness test today, and he will be on the final roster. And we'll just have to see how he continues to progress.